Everything's on the table.
And now, we're live. Yes, live from James Place. And we're talking barbershop talk. Yes, barbershop talk, where nothing is off limits and everything's on the table.
Everything's on the table.
Barbershop talk.
Come on, everybody. We're here at James Place.
Barbershop.
We're talking barbershop talk.
Barbershop talk.
Barbershop talk.
At James Place.
Barbershop talk. Where nothing's off limits.
Barbershop talk.
Barbershop talk.
Barbershop talk.
Barbershop talk.
Barbershop talk.
Barbershop talk.
At James Place. Barbershop talk.
Everything's on the table.
Barbershop Talk Live here at Jay's Place Barbershop. The day is not Wednesday, but the day is Thursday, so I thank you for tuning in to Barbershop Talk Live, 1927 Olive Road. I'm John Milton. You are who you are. Thank you for tuning in. But listen, I am excited that today is another great day. We're going to have a great conversation with our special guest, Mr. Ben Hasan. Thank you for tuning in to watch it. But don't forget, tell your enemies, tell your friends, tell your neighbors. Don't forget about those church members. Tell them to tune in to Barbershop Talk Live because, again, in store for you and for me is another great conversation. But before I go any further, I got to give a special shout out to the ones that put this program together behind the scene. I mean, way behind the scene. My supporters, my vendors, my sponsors, thank you. But let me go first and say special shout out to my good friend Demetrius Johnson, Beverly's Body Butter. What does she have? Whip, Senate, Shea Butter. Demetrius Johnson has a product that need to be in your house, need to be on your nightstand, need to be in your medicine cabinet, need to be on your body. The Whip, Senate, Shea Butter is good for your hands, good for your hair, and also good for pain. So give her a call at 706-564-5335. Again, that's 706-564-5335. Whip, Senate, Shea Butter. You got TikTok, she got TikTok. Hit her up on TikTok at Melon Queen 1976. Also, give my good friend a call, Alan Odom. Alan Odom is with Pond Maintenance. The CEO of Pond Maintenance does demolition, tree removal, grass cutting, and also maintain your pond. If you got any of those problems you need to address, give him a call again at 706-294-8493. Pond Maintenance, Alan Odom, right here in the CSRA. Good friend to know, good friend to be around. Tell him John Milton, the Jay's Place Barbershop Talk Live sent you. CSRA, right here in Augusta, Georgia, Washington Road, 3300 to be exact, Washington Road. I'm talking about Johnny Raw and their Dops. What are they doing? They got a new location, Miracle Affinity of Augusta. Go by, I said go by and see them. Great deals, great discounts on products, on cars, right here in the CSRA. Tell them John Milton gave you the call to go see them, but you can give them a call at 706-922-6500. Again, that's 706-922-6500. Miracle Affinity of Augusta, right here, 3300 Washington Road, Johnny Raw, and that Dops. Tell them John Milton sent you from Barbershop Talk Live. Since we're talking about that Barbershop Talk Live, we're also talking about the Barber and Beauty Fun Day. What is the Barber and Beauty Fun Day? September the 10th, right here, 2340 Millersville Road, Augusta, Georgia, the old YMCA. We are putting together the Barber and Beauty Fun Day. This is a HIV fundraiser that we're doing right here. I'm asking you to come out to support this program. We are doing a potato sack race, hula hoop contest, three-legged race, musical chairs. We got vendors. We got ATL Dream Vision going to be the band that's going to be performing. DJ J Will is on the Wheels of Steel giving you all the music and the sounds. I'm talking about come out and get your blood pressure checked. Come out and get your HIV test done, and also come out to get vaccinated. Again, that's September the 10th, Sunday. Sunday, September the 10th, Barber and Beauty Fun Day. The time is from 2 to 7, 2340 Millersville Road, the old YMCA. If you need to be a vendor, give me a call at 706-726-2711, 706-726-2711. Also, there is going to be a car show. You got a car you want to show off, you got a car you want to let people see, give me a call again. We'll put your car into the car show. Please, ma'am, please, sir, one more important announcement I need you to know about. One more important announcement I need you to know about. Saturday, September the 23rd, right here at the Kroc Center in Augusta, Georgia, my good friend Angel Wright is putting together a Speak Up Sis Awards Gala. You don't want to miss it. I'm telling you, you don't want to miss it. What is it? She is highlighting all of the ladies right here in the CSRA for doing marvelous, miraculous things in the CSRA. So get your ticket. You can also give her a call at 706-394-2030. Again, that's 706-394-2030. Yours truly will be on the red carpet. I will be on the red carpet, tuxedo, beard trim, haircut. We're going to be looking good. So Speak Up Sis, that's Saturday, September the 23rd, right here in Augusta, Georgia. That is a program you do not want to miss. Great things going on in the CSRA. So please, ma'am, please, sir, as they say in the church, govern yourselves accordingly. Get a chance to take care of all these announcements. Be mindful of all these announcements. And one thing I want you to do, love each other. Love each other. There's enough bad stuff going on right here in the CSRA. So let's love each other. Let's have a good time. Let's support each other. All of the talent right here in the CSRA, support each other, love each other, and just be kind. Be kind to each other. But I want to say thank you again for tuning in to Barbershop Talk Live. I am enjoying myself coming to your living room, coming to your radio, coming to your TV, coming to your iPad, even to your iPhone. I am enjoying this weekly broadcast. So keep supporting Barbershop Talk Live all the time. Whether you see me live or you see me in the streets, come say hey to me. I'll give you a good old-fashioned grandma hug. I'm glad to see you. Thank God for you. But today is Barbershop Talk Live, another great conversation. And my conversation today is coming to my good friend, Mr. Ben Hasan.
Thank you, John.
What's up, Ben?
Pleasure to be here, John.
Man, you better give me something.
Been a long time since I've been in here, John.
I know it, man.
You've come through selling my pocketbooks, my tapes, my hats, my oils, my incense. It's been a minute. It's been a minute.
It's always good to see a familiar face.
Pleasure to be here, man.
Well, can I get comfortable?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, let me take
absolutely.
this. Let me take this.
I welcome that. Even though it's your place, but I encourage you to get comfortable.
Man, it's good to see you. It's good to see
all mine, man. I got here early, man, and see the body work that when you change out of one cape and put on another cape, another body work, so people have no idea the body work that it takes to put this on and set this up, man. And I applaud you for what you do for the community.
I appreciate it, man. And you know the funny thing, you say that because a lot of people don't know what goes on behind the scene.
Hey, that what makes it happen.
That would make it happen behind the scenes.
Well, just like good collard greens, because you way across Georgia, so you know what that's like.
So you know if I'm a big
But you have no idea that those things grow underground. They go down before they come up.
They go down before they come up. To be more careful. This is gonna be a great conversation. I see it already. All right, listen, now, Ben, I don't know if you had a chance to in your spare time that you do have, because you have so much going on, as everybody know. But in the time that you do have, I don't know if you had a chance to pay attention to Barbershop Talk Live, because again, as I said earlier, I enjoy it.
Well, absolutely I have, John. I was just watching last week, you and Chris Norris, when you always talking about the battle of Waycross against Thompson. Man. And I was surprised when, say, Waycross knocked him out now.
Listen,
he admitted it, so he didn't argue about it.
He know. We'll do it right now.
So it's been a pleasure to watch you grow and mature and bring another aspect of your life, because when we first met, not only just coming to your shop, but you also were doing the HIV, you and your friend, your departed friend, Ken, and those things we talking about. You come to my radio program with WKZK, my television program, Comcast Connect Live, and things of that nature. So, you're steady growing and blossoming and showing your way and your value to this community, and I applaud you for that.
I appreciate it, and listen, like you say, it's a whole lot that goes on behind the scenes and a lot of stuff that I do in the community, and I'll be honest with you, sometimes I don't know what I'm going to do till I do it. Well, and I thank God, because all these adventures and deals and events that comes on, it ain't me. Right. I believe the good Lord give it to me, and I put it out there.
Well, I think the proof is in the pudding, because you do it well.
I appreciate that. You
do it well.
And I try to do everything I do, like the old folks say, decent and in order.
Yes.
But now the crazy part about it now being, I know you, like you said, you saw the show last week.
Yes.
Great show, and
Yes.
that was a great show. I enjoyed talking to Chris. But the thing that I want to know now is, everybody almost know who I am, but I think everybody don't know who you are. But for the ones that don't know who you are, I want you to look at that camera, put old Kool-Aid smile on your face, and let everybody know who is being Hasan.
Well, you know, John, it's ironic you say Kool-Aid, because I was just telling a good friend of mine yesterday how over about 30 years ago, I had stopped drinking Kool-Aid.
No.
And guess what? Since I retired, I just started back drinking Kool-Aid. So you said the Kool-Aid smile.
Put the Kool-Aid
You're right
smile
on
on.
time.
There you go.
Well,
Give
you
him the
know,
Kool-Aid
being
smile.
Hasan, born and raised here in Augusta, Georgia, all my life. Been married 47 years, have 4 adult kids, have 11 grandkids. Wouldn't trade Augusta in for the world. I'm a firm believer that if we get it right in Augusta, as blacks in particular, that we have the ability to change the face of this nation. I think, and that is needed now in this country more so than ever before. We can impact this nation. And so I'm excited about what you're doing, what others are doing, like Bobby Bashir, Bobby the Artist Bashir, and other podcasts, because it puts us, for the first time, whether you believe it or not, John, because this is how I look at it now, we're in the catbird seat. Many times we're at the mercy of the media. But now when you're talking about here, the media is in your hand. I have an opportunity to have the media in my hand with what I do with the newspaper, Speak Augusta. Also getting ready to start a podcast. Bobby, the Artist Bashir, what he's doing. Others are doing the very same thing. I'm only mentioning the ones that I know. I know there are others out there. Don't want to lose track of that. But it gives us an opportunity to speak directly to our community and be a character in our own community. So we shouldn't take this lightly. And I know you don't. I'm preaching to the choir.
Right. And you know, when you said from Augusta, and now you do know where I'm from.
You from Waycross?
I'm from a big little town called Waycross, Georgia. and I just got to let you know, because again, now when you said you from Augusta,
right?
Now again, going back on my home big town, Waycross, and I told you earlier, if you don't play football, you might well die.
Well, I mean, it goes back to one time when Delaney was the only high school here, so I know what that is. Waycross, one high school, Thompson, one high school.
Right.
Augusta got multiple now.
Multiple high schools.
And so, like you say, football becomes your religion.
That's your religion.
In those towns like that.
That's it. So that being said, football, basketball, what'd you do when growing up?
I played basketball and played football. I played basketball in terms of in high school. I played, in elementary school, and then intramural once I got into junior high and high. Because, see, I don't conform well, so I had to do what I do. Played for R.S. Williams, which was the playground behind Trinity Baptist Church at that particular time when I was coming up. And we used to go and play in the Sunset, Bethlehem Center, Chaffee Park, and other places like that. So I was point guard.
Now, being as you know, this new technology is crazy. So now we got to the point where we can press a button and see if the person is really telling the truth or not. So now, if I need to Google, I can Google Bill.
Well, not on that. When I played, let me say this here. When I played football, for Salazar, Florida, I played offensive and defensive end. We went the whole year without anybody scoring on us. Let me finish. But we lost the championship to AC Griggs 6-13. But nobody even scored on us the whole year.
You say the whole year?
Whole year.
Google that.
I can tell you some of the scores.
Cameraman, Google that.
We beat W.S. Hansby 58-0. We beat Craig down there 24-0. We beat Telfair 28-0. I mean, I remember all this, John.
Cameraman, when you get a chance, Google that, cameraman. All right, well, like I say, some towns, some cities, some schools, football is the way of life.
Right.
Basketball is the way of life.
Yes.
It's just that I like that sportsman, competitive type sound or side of a person, and that's how I am.
Right.
I'm very competitive on some of the things I do. Some of the stuff I don't worry about it, but when it comes to certain things, first of all, don't say I can't.
Right.
Don't say I can't, because if you say I can't, now I'm going to prove to you that I can.
Well, I mean, that's always an incentive.
That's always an incentive.
It's always an incentive, and I think we should always look at things in that regard, because people can misread you at any given time, because most time they're speaking for themselves and not for you. But if you allow them to breathe that into your spirit, you become a victim of their shortcomings. So you can't afford to do that.
Right. CSRA, I'll give you a chance to get on the phone, 706-426-1533. If you got a question for our special guest, Mr. Ben Hasan, or you got a question for myself, put it on the screen or give us a call. We'll answer any and all questions. Again, the phone number is 706-426-1533. Glad to hear you. Don't forget, we are live. Ben.
Yes, sir.
I heard something in the introduction. You were saying 11 grandkids?
Yes.
11.
Yes.
So now what I need to do once we get off the air, I need you to let me read the book that you got because I only have 2 grandkids, and I love them like doggone apple pie.
Yeah.
So it's 11 grandkids.
Yes. I mean, you know Naeem.
yeah.
Naeem has 3 kids.
Yeah.
My oldest son, Theodis, he had 4. He's lost, he's lost 2 of those.
Right.
But he has 4 still. Then we got my daughter T has 1, and my daughter Daia, she has 4.
Okay.
So those numbers might be right, but you know how to
yeah.
trying to look. It's almost like trying to remember your wife's birthday.
Oh,
don't start trying to talk about those
don't
things.
do all that.
You'll miscount.
Yeah, I
Miscalculate.
I got 2, and I love them to death, and
Right.
I jump on the doggone hot coals for them 2
Right.
grandkids of mine.
Right.
So I love that grandparent world, that grandparent experience.
Right.
It's something different.
Oh yeah, absolutely it is. Absolutely it is. I mean, they call you Papa, Granddad, or what have
Whatever,
you.
yeah.
And you enjoy every minute of it because you can always send them home with the parents.
You can always sit home with the parent. So that being said, 47 years of being married.
Right.
So again, I want to read that book also because
Right.
I got 27 years. And it's been some good days and it's been some bad days, but I thank God for who I got because when you know you got the right woman in your corner.
Right. Well, like I say, John, I normally don't even mention about the dress that could normally be a follow up, but I
Right.
thank God for her, because probably if it was not for my wife, I'd be up on the bridge, be dead, be in the penitentiary. When you have someone who loves you more than you love yourself and know what you're capable of, as active as you see me and have known me to be, it's been points in time in our marriage where she said to me, "You act like you scared to be successful." And I think I'm making it happen. You know what I'm saying? In many ways, but she know I have more to give, and she pushed me. She does it silently. She don't beat me across the head with a hammer. Like look here, if I think that's going to happen, I get out of Dodge.
Out the way.
But
Yeah,
I thank
yeah.
God that I still have a wife. I'm very excited about that. And I think the most key to it, and I always tell people who, tell me they just got married. I think the key to it, John, for me has been keep people out of your house, keep people out of your business. I believe you can practically overcome anything as long as everybody breathing into your all's relationship.
And that's great advice because that's something I've been doing for years. And let me pick it back up there again. One of the things I consider a great marriage to keep the marriage going is communication.
Yeah, absolutely.
Communication, because again, early on it wasn't that level early in the
Right.
this but
Right.
now as time went on and we're still together, that communication, talking, praying, and just figuring every stuff out. Because again, all that you see, this stuff that I do,
Right.
she pushing me, she making sure everything is done right, down to the writing the letters, to the making sure everything is right. And again, if I didn't have that person in my corner,
Well, practically most of us men that we don't like to admit, the things that we do in life, we do them to please a woman. Most likely a man wouldn't be, most men would not naturally be driven to go out and do things, but he want to always make sure that some woman is proud of what he's doing. He ain't doing it for himself.
Right,
I mean,
right,
I don't care about it. I've never had a brand new car. Brand new car, I've had it been my wife's car. I go to the mailbox, I bring the mail in the house. I don't even open the mail.
I got
And those kinds of things. So most of the things we do in life, we do them for them and for our kids and stuff. We don't care. We just do what we do.
And that's pretty much why I'm just doing it for the kids and grandkids, and
Yeah.
If they happy, I'm happy.
Yeah.
That, again, serious already. If you got a special question for our great guest, being a son, please, ma'am, please, sir, give off limit. You have a question for myself, Alcy, and any all questions you have. So we want to make sure you keep tuning in, share it with your neighbors, share it with your friends. Let them know Barbershop Talk Live is live, and we are in your house. So keep tuning in, keep sharing. And also, don't forget to go to our YouTube page, like our page, subscribe to our page. We'll be glad to see you, and we'll be glad to hear from you. Ben, I want to know one thing. You said in your introduction that you are retired.
Mm-hmm.
Retired?
Right.
Tell me about this retired life now.
Well,
Because you ain't really retired because you everywhere.
Well, no, I mean that's just a figure of speech.
Okay, that's
that means that the last thing I did was obligated to do was to be a commissioner. I've enjoyed it. It was one of the most memorable moments of my life. After doing what I've done in the community for so many years and have an opportunity to be a commissioner for about 100 months, which was 8 years and 4 months, wouldn't trade it for the world. I think I've done a lot of good there. You learn a lot. You make mistakes, but at the end of the day, I'm proud of my body of work. So now we're talking about retired. Absolutely, I'm not. I have a online newspaper called Speak Augusta. We originally wanted it to be a weekly newspaper, but some of my writers teachers and things of that nature, so you have to have room for them to breathe. So we're doing it now every other week, but however, in a 2 weeks time frame now, I'll be doing a podcast to subsidize that. So we will be doing something all 4 weeks of the month for the most part. So we're excited about that. I think we have a lot to offer. I think there's a lot of things that need to come from the black community across this country. It goes back to my initial comments to you, and I think you all are doing a great job of those things now, having different conversations in this community about what our needs are, what the things that we have to be concerned about, what are the things that are going to bring value to our community, because we have a lot to give. And I believe that we have not scratched the surface because we never had the conversation and dug deep enough. And John, I say in doing those things, my thing in having a podcast, you didn't say this, so let me elaborate on this.
Right.
It is to compete with you in a good way, for us to push each other to be better. It is not to shut John down, and John is not to shut me down. We want to push each other to answer the call and to encourage the black citizens in particular to step up and rise up to the occasion, because we've got a lot of work to do.
And that's great that you said it, because there's a lot of people in the CSRA that does have podcasters, and I've been on a few of them, and it's to the point where I ain't trying to outshine you, I ain't even trying to outshine me. Again, we're just trying to get the information out, get people aware of what's going on, because some people might not listen to me, they might listen to you, might listen to Janice Allen Jackson or anybody like that. So it's great. There's no competition involved. We just doing what I call it, thus says the Lord.
Well, all of us are like this. Most of us, many of us, are personality worshipers. So it's not so much about the message time; it's about who's talking.
Who's talking?
We hope they don't kill the messenger. That's what we don't kill the messenger.
Right, don't do that.
People are personality worshipers. Sometimes we just like different personalities. But at the end of the day, we have a body of work to do. I truly believe, John. I've always believed in us. Sometimes you don't be on the right course and it doesn't look that way. But I'm a firm believer that we have a lot to offer, and I'm looking forward to us doing that. And I'm looking for all of us who has those podcasts and things to sit down in a room and collaborate and see how we can collectively move the community forward, like what you're doing now. You know your vision. I can watch you every week, and I can surmise about what your vision is. And I can surmise, as you mentioned, Ms. Jackson. I can listen to Ms. Jackson. But what about the day and time when we get in a room together and we really introduce ourselves and say what our goals and objectives are, and find out how we can meet each other, assist each other and get into that? Because you know who the beneficiary of it? The City of Augusta, the beneficiary of it. The CSRA is the beneficiary of it, And so we want us to come together. Then if we are putting ourselves on the public square, then we have an obligation to show what that looks like.
Right. And that's what you want to do.
Show what that
looks like. That's the goal. So with that being said, Ben, I'm going to let you see my first question. Now, my first question right here is to kind of piggyback up what you said earlier as a former commissioner.
Right.
So now, again, that's my first question. You see my first question?
I see your first question.
So the first question, and actually these questions are not my question. It's coming from the people.
Okay.
So sometimes I will already know the answer to the question, but the people want to know.
All right.
So based on this first question you see on the page here,
okay,
I want to know, because, again, you were a former commissioner.
Right.
And now that you out from the outside looking back on the inside, do you think the city of Augusta is going in the right direction? Now, when I say that, I mean with the new administration, the new mayor, the other people that took office, Pulliam and other people like that. So again, based on the first question that the people gave me to ask you, and again, I know the answer. Mm-hmm. The people want to know.
Right.
Do you feel Augusta is going in the right direction right now?
I really think we're heading in the right direction. I think there's a lot of that we still got to come together, begin to collaborate more. But I think there's a desire to do that. I think they have to begin to know each other and to trust each other a little bit more. But I think they are meaning well. Now, the difference in meaning well and doing well is not the same, But at the same time, I think they're headed in the right direction. I think they want to see Augusta move in the right direction, and I think we're going to get there. And the reason I say that, because I know we have a very aggressive Mayor Garnett Johnson. He wants to do some things. Sometimes you have to kind of slow him down to try to fully acclimate himself to all of the players at the table, because the mayor's position is a tricky position for anybody. Because when people come to your town, they say, "Where's your mayor?" And when you go see the mayor has to be mindful of what his limitations are. And it's hard to phantom that on the fly. But once you get in that position, you realize that you have to collaborate with everybody else. And sometimes you have to go there. Sometimes commissioners the same thing. Commissioners, even when I was there, we won't allow the administrator to do her job. I think we got someone who's doing an excellent job there, and the commissioner's going to make a decision about that in the future. So I don't want to, put no jinx on, I would say, you know, in the form of fashion. But she's doing a great job at this particular time. But I think we're headed in the right direction with people who know about the city, because Augusta is a very unique place, Johnny. Nothing like Augusta.
It's different.
Not even that little big town that you live from away. It's not like because because back in the day, you know, you come to the city, you come to Augusta.
I come to Augusta. Because you come to Augusta City.
Yeah.
But you know, and you know, funny you say that, because again, the folks that's asking these questions.
Yeah,
you know, and we look at what you're saying, and we look at what's going on, because again, nobody care about what you say.
Right.
They care about what you do.
Right.
So that being said, if we are going in the right direction, why is it taking so long for us to get to the right direction? Because again, over the past administrations, from the Copenhagens, from the Bob Youngs to the whoever's, so it seems like nobody got it right. So why are we getting it right now? It's because again, now if you say this new administration is taking the lead, sometime, Ben, we don't see it now. Yeah.
Well, here's what brings me to those conclusions. For right now, I see them addressing issues I think is very, very crucial that we've been trying to get a handle on even when I was there. And that number one, we've always heard all our life, John, cleanliness is next to godliness. They're concerned about trying now, the interim administrator has made a recommendation to them to where to put their funds at to make sure the city becomes clean, be cleaner. I was at the meeting Tuesday, and I see among the commissioners there's unanimous consent to accept her recommendation and to go forward and get that done. That has never been done before. See, the way that happened, and to put us in a bad way that we don't know who cuts the grass, you know, that took place in 2011, you know, where they took and broke it down and closed down the public works department and had a recreation cutting grass, engineer cutting grass at somebody from the landfill, and so as a result of that, was nothing getting done. But she's made a recommendation to the body to put that back together. They was adamant Tuesday about they're going to support that. They're going to make sure that the warden in particular get the resources that he needs so he can have more manpower out there. And so I think that's the first step. And so that's a collaborative effort in doing that, and I'm excited about it. Those are the kind of things that you've been concerned about for quite some time.
And one of the things that's really been, you know, scratching on my neck, and it's a question I have on. It's probably question 3 I have. You see, question 3. What I've been concerned about now is the flooding.
Right.
The flooding problem right here in my neighborhood.
Right.
Because again, from my neighborhood on down to Lane and Walker, over there by Beulah Grove, there's so much flooding when it rains, and for years we've been fighting that same battle. So I'm just wondering why we ain't got this point yet. Now when something happens on the other side of town, I mean, we got crews out there, we got shovels, we got tractors out there. So why is it happening on the other side of town? When I said other side of town, I mean Washington Road area, all those parts of the town. But down here, you know, we have to have a study.
Yeah.
we got to have a study. We got to bring a team of people. For 3 years, we got to bring people in from out of town.
You got an echo, John.
Yeah, and you know, and this is one of our concerned citizens. One of the, I think we got, if I'm not mistaken, I counted 23 people come in. So we got 23 people in the audience that want to get these same concerns. So why we always have to have a study on the issue that we know the problem?
Well,
Ben, hold on, Ben, because I got to get to you because I see the phone lines about to go off, and I want to make sure I get a question on one of those people on the line. But again, why are we having studies and paying people $100,000, $200,000 to come in and tell us the problem that we already know, and the people that don't care are the ones that don't live in this area?
Well, here's your.
I'm just talking about what I'm talking about.
I understand, and I know, and you're exactly right. Here's how your flooding problem is going to get solved. Now, you may be 2 years out before it get resolved, and that is 2011, 12. That shows how long I've been going there because I didn't get sworn into 15.
Okay.
There was a motion to do a retention pond in High Park, and what that means that that's a low-lying area. You sit up high here. There's going to be a retention pond over there. First, they had to get all of the residents out there. We did that probably 4 or 5 years ago. Now they're replenishing the resources to try to put that in place so all that water can flow in that direction. Now, one of the bigger issues why it flood around all the city of Augusta, we have to realize that Augusta is a city that's almost a couple of 100 years old. Now, you got clay pipes in a lot of places in the city, actually clay pipes. So a lot of that stuff has to be dug up. Like you see, if you go to a Broad Street right now, there's tier money. Millions of dollars are going to be spent down there. But if you can see on 8th Street, right off of 8th Street, right off of Telfair Street, you can see they're working to try to run lines and stuff underground because they've been down there for over 100 years. So Augusta is an old city as well. And so in trying to do those things, it creates a problem for us because number one, they can't raise their taxes, and I won't say the way they need to get to those points. You have to do it in increments to try to get there. But a place has been designated. That water is going to flow down the High Park. They're replenishing the resource. You're going to have a retention pond, and that water will just slowly go that way, and it won't settle in front of your business and other things. Because you've been before the commission about those things. Legitimately, you should. But that's what's going to happen, but it's going to be a couple of years out. I'm not down anymore, but I know what is taking place.
I guess I look at the situation again. Again, this is a question I already know the answer to, but sometimes the people just want to know. The main question that people want to know, why it taking so long? Why? I mean, because again, if you look at, I'm on the outside.
Right.
If you look at the outside, we see that money is being spent on other stuff. Mm-hmm. And some of our minds, that ain't important as the stuff that we need to get addressed now, for as the flooding, all the roads being torn up, the potholes in the street. So we're assuming that this stuff need to be addressed before we start doing all this stuff that in our mind is, because, and I guess I want to say something that might be kind of sensitive to some people, but I got to say it because it's on my mind.
Right.
When you look at the hurricane that was down in Savannah, so it seems like when that hurricane comes, people come to Augusta.
Right.
They're leaving the Savannah and they come here, and almost instantly, being there's a gyms, there's food brought in, there's carts being brought in, there's everything to take care of the people that's coming here. But now for the people that are already here, ain't nothing being done.
Right.
We got folks at the bridge, can't get a place to stay, and even though we know some of them don't want that, but then you got people that's coming in. We can do all for them. That's gonna be here for a couple of days. But we've been here for years.
Well, historically, John, when they do that, you may have May Park and other places that will take in the ones that's here. But like you say, some of them find their own sweet spots where they're comfortable at themselves. They don't want to come in. Those families come here because they have nowhere else to go. But at the same time, they do reimburse the city, when they come in. So when they come by the bus loads, they do reimburse the city for getting them when they have to evacuate their lands and things of that nature. They do those kinds of things to compensate them. But also, like I say, Johnny, the city of Augusta, I really believe that they're headed in the right direction simply because those issues are going to be addressed. I think the commission should have to get their legs upon them. But also, I know you have done it, but it also, the squeaky wheel still gets the grease. Or still gets the oil, or still gets the benefit.
Right.
But you have to do it decent and in order and coming down as a citizen prior to becoming a commissioner. I can tell you, February 1st, 2011, I went before the Augusta Commission about an issue. In 2013, I went before the school board about an issue. You know what I'm saying? When it gets in my spirit, I think it impacts the community. I take a leap of faith, and most time I'm heard, or sometimes I'm dismissed. But I'm on record for voicing my position on that. And I think that people have to realize that all politics is local. We take and we run to the polls, rightfully so, when a presidential election, we take and run in record numbers. But all your politics is local. Your votes can do more local than they can on the national level. I'm not telling you don't vote in the presidential election, but when you vote for your mayor, when you vote for your commission, when you vote for your sheriff, when you vote for your school board members, when you vote for your state legislator, that's the biggest impact that you're going to have, so don't be dismissive of it. So we must have an agenda as citizens and not just throw at the point that we get all angst about a single issue and then we want to take them down. It's not fair to them because there's so much on their plate. Being an elected official, now they did sign up for it. Well, we did sign up for it. I did sign up for it.
Right.
But at the same time, there's a lot of things on your plate. But the first thing the citizens should know, if you vote to the tune of Richmond County, if we vote 75 to 80% during a presidential election, we should vote 75 to 80, as high as 90% on local elections, because that is the biggest bang you're going to get for your buck.
Let me throw this out there, Ben, and it's just a question again. That's number six on the.
I see it.
You see number 6. So I want to make sure I read this question correctly, because what I'm getting from the people, again, I know these answers, but I want to make sure the people hear the answers.
Right.
So what I'm thinking now is, again, the people want to know grades.
Say it again.
Grades.
When you say grades, explain that. What are you saying?
So I make sure my son go to school, my daughter go to school, my grandkids go to school. They get the right grade.
Okay.
We're going to study. We're going to get the homework done. We're going to get the right grade. So when they do the right studies and homework, the grade shows. You got the A, the B, whatever they get. So I want to make sure they get the right grade, and that'll make me feel good, make the parents feel good, grandparents feel good. So now I'm coming to you because, again, this is the question, this number 6 question, this coming to you because commissions, should we grade you all? And when I say grade you, it's, let's just say 3 months out, 6 months out, each commissioner gets a grade on their district. So the point where, okay, now he ain't did nothing for South Augusta, North Augusta, any of these Augustas, 6 or 7 district. We need to put a grade on these commissioners to the point where either you can do right or you get out. Do you think that's possible or that's doable to give you all grades? Because again, I see it sometimes based on the question number 6, the people see that some of y'all ain't doing right, so y'all need to be graded on your performance.
Let me ask you this. Before I answer. Would you ask for me or would you ask for all the commissioners?
I want all y'all.
Because I can speak for me.
Well, everybody did
I
great.
can speak for me of all the commissioners.
Everybody did.
As a commissioner myself, now I'm not separating myself from them because I can't speak for them. But if that was brought to me when I was in office, I would say yes, I have no problem, because my constituents and many other people, I never gave out. We have a city phone, and most likely, people have their own personal phone. I've never given anybody the city phone number. I give them my personal phone number. And so with that, I made myself accessible. I probably couldn't solve all your problems, but number one, I answered the call. I investigated what your ask was, and I let you know whether I can get it done or I could not. So now I am going to step into the other realm. I don't think commissioners or the mayor have a problem with it. I wouldn't think they would have it. But I would think you have to be fair. You have to let them know that your intentions are. The citizens come down. You give them what you would expect for them in terms of when that's going to happen. I don't see a problem with that. But also, remember now, as a citizen, you have a responsibility as well.
Okay.
To them.
Okay.
So that means, number one, you make sure that you got somebody who's capable of doing the job. See, many times we vote family and friends. We don't necessarily vote the best person to do the job. And we put ourselves in harm's way. And so many times, so we have to realize that we have to be adamant about what we want. We let zoning issues come up in our neighborhood, and we realize it's something that we don't want, but the sign has been out in front of your business, in front of your business or your house for 2 weeks now for the length of time it legally is supposed to be. That's the time you're supposed to investigate it before it get before the commission. And now it's there or before the planning board. But now it's there, and now you want us to potentially put ourselves in harm's way when I was there now. So we're talking as though, I'm talking as though we would.
When you was
and
there.
so we have to be more adamant about what we wanted to see. You get what you asked for. Like former commissioners say, you get what you expect. You inspect what you expect. So we have to be as citizens, have a responsibility too. It's not all on the elected officials, because elected officials, like I said, they did sign up for it, but I think it's a collaborative effort because we do represent your best interests.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the grade process could be doable.
Yes, but you talk to them to try to see what do they expect, and you let them set it. That way, what's the best fair way? You can say, well, you said, Ben, okay, what if I say, well, John, what do you expect here from Barbershop Live? And you say, well, John, Ben, this is my intention here. It's okay. And then I sit for 3 months to 6 months and evaluate your guests. And even when you don't have a guest, I evaluate your conversation. In that 6 month period, I come back and say, John, I know what you said, John, but I don't see that. Or John, I see that, and you're doing a phenomenal job. John, you almost got there, John, but you fell a little short. So you be fair to them about what you're expecting of them, and don't blindside them. And y'all agree on. See, yes, we can agree on that. Now y'all got some standards that y'all both have agreed upon.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. And I'm gonna push that issue based on question number 6. I'm gonna push it. We need to grade these commissioners.
Yes.
We need to do great.
And your mayor.
And the mayor. Yeah. So nobody's off limits. Nobody's.
And your school board members.
And we need to grade them all.
Your school board members.
And maybe that can be in the contract. If you don't do right, you got to hit exit stage left.
Yeah.
So again, CSRA, if you got a question for our special guest, Mr. Ben Hasan, please, ma'am, please, sir, give us a call at 706-426-1533. Again, that's 706-426-1533. You got a question for myself, also give us a call at 706-426-1533. I am enjoying this conversation.
It's a pleasure, John. It's a pleasure. I feel like I'm coming through here again, John, and doing my thing.
I am enjoying the conversation. Now, Ben, I know you're not in the what they call the hot seat, and I called it the hot seat.
Okay.
But you're not in the hot seat now for the commission chambers, but you still got a little inside of what's going on down there. Now, I had ran across some stuff about a few weeks ago in the barbershop. Mm-hmm. In the barbershop. We wasn't live, but we was in the barbershop talking. and the conversation came across the chair about C-Splash.
Okay.
Never heard it before in my
Right.
life. So now again, question 7.
Okay.
Question 7. You
I
see,
see it.
you
I
see
see
question
it. I
7.
see it. I see
Question 7 says, again, I think I know the answer, but the people want to know,
Right.
what is C-Splash?
Well, C-SPLOS is an effort that the state granted the Augusta Richmond County. They had to get it passed through legislation, and the governor signed it, where the citizens can take a half a penny to build a new arena. The arena that we have is antiquated, is outdated. Arenas now, they are defined as having an experience. That means when you go to an arena now, you shouldn't really have to come outdoors for anything. Everything you need. After you watch the show, you can go to a bar. Or you go sit down and have a full course meal and everything. So the C-SPLOS is going to grant you the opportunity to do that. And it's only going to be in place based on the state statute. They've set the criteria for it. And first thing now, what's going to make you really feel comfortable is the commissioners ain't handling the money.
No, hold up. Did you say nobody got their hand in the cookie jar?
No, nobody. No.
That's what you're saying?
No, that's not. No, I would not accuse them of that. But a lot of times people think because of the commission, or the mayor, you get bad vibes from that. But I'm saying this is more being the architect of this is the Coliseum Authority. The Coliseum Authority has someone as the chairman of that who I have great respect for, and that's Mr. Cedric Johnson. He's the chairman. When you're talking about, Johnny, you know this. When you first came to Augusta Richmond County, you went out to the airport, you was in the old barracks from Fort Gordon. That's what it was. Cedric Johnson is the chairman, and Reverend Carlton Howard, the co-chair, they practically built that out there. So he has been at the helm of some of the biggest investments in the turnaround in the city. So now bringing that in, he's the chairperson of that, where they come with the C-SPLOS, is going to only be in place for the life of the loan of the money that they bond. Money that they bond, and it goes away after that. So we all need that, so we don't have to go to Atlanta. We can bring the big shows into Augusta Richmond County. Just a half a cent. Now, how you split a pen up? Don't ask me that one,
I'm
John.
about to come at you with that one.
I had to get ahead of you on that. I saw your mind twirling.
I was about to say, how you do that?
I don't know how you do that.
Now,
but,
we don't do that in Waycross.
But obviously the state, they have a mechanism for it. I encourage you to invite Cedric Johnson, the chair, and talk to him about that. Just that. And you can also back him up. It's okay. How does it compare to what you did at the airport? What made you decide to do that, and compare it to why you think we need a new arena? And I think you'd be pleasantly surprised because you got a good person at the helm. We got something that we want to see, great acts every weekend. Thousands of Augustans leave here to go to Columbia, Savannah, Atlanta to go see good entertainment when you have an opportunity here to do it right in Augusta, Richmond County.
Well, Ben, again, I just believe what I believe, and I believe what I see.
Yeah.
Not what I hear. And,
right.
we are citizens of Augusta to the point now. We tired of hearing the small talk. We tired of hearing the barbershop talk.
Right.
We tired of hearing that kind of. We need to see some results.
Right.
So when I go down and I see some bulldozers, when I see some cranes, when I see some guys working, then I see some results of my 1 cent sales tax or whatever it is. So are we really seeing the results?
I think you are. And also, but let me say for the record, because I don't want your listeners or your viewers to get it confused, your C-SPLOS, you're going to be voting on that in November. It's going to be a single item on there for that to happen. That's going to be in November. And I encourage you to bring Mr. Johnson on and get more details on it. And so that's what's going to happen. But now back to your penny sales tax that worked for you. I think you are. Like I said, John, just remember, we are an old city. And sometimes I know that doesn't sit well. But I think when you sit down and you look across the landscape, I do believe if you put together a good citizenry across Augusta, Richmond County, you can be an asset or an ally to the commission and what have you, and make them make some good informed decisions about what you all think some priorities are. But for the most part, I think they're doing what they need to do. But listen, but other eyes on them don't hurt at all. But I do think all them hearts is in the right direction.
Okay. Oh, now.
Water. Let me answer. I'm sorry. Do you want to answer that? Or do you want me?
That was number 9 question.
Okay.
That was number 9.
I
question.
can tell you why.
Okay, let's go to.
I can tell you why.
Let's go to the water.
I can tell you why.
Let's go to that.
Yep.
Let's go to
your water bill. When I came on, myself and the former commissioner, that's one of the first things we found out that, and I knew that already from my household, that every year your water bill goes up about 3% every year. So we asked the utility director, that was Tom Wiedemeyer, who is now deceased. We went to him. We wanted to stop that, slow that down. Said no, because your water bill in 20 years is going to be the highest bill that you're going to have at a rate of 3% annually. So what he did is brought the expert in. He brought some really experts in, and we had a workshop. I know, John, but these experts came in, and they came with information to share with us why it was important that this was one of the better things. That a lot of cities would have done it. They've been much better, like Flint, Michigan. Flint didn't have the resources to get those old raggedy pipes out of the ground. So what that does, it keep us abreast of keep those old pipes out of the ground. It keep us where we need to do. When you bond money, you don't have to come and raise taxes on the citizen to do what needs to be done in that utility department. Because it's very easy when those pipes be in the ground for the length of time that we're talking about, that people can get contaminated water. And so the water bill goes up 3% annually for those purposes. Now, here's what did happen. Let me tell you what did happen.
Hold on, babe, because I see the phone lines, jumping off the hook. But what I need to do before I even go to the phone line or get to the question on the screen, I need to pay a bill.
Go ahead, please. Bills got to be paid.
Bills got to be paid.
Bills got to be paid.
Somebody got to pay these bills.
Oh, absolutely. So, you don't be on the street.
So that being said, I want to give a special shout out to my good friend, Miss Angel Brown. She's got a hit single that's coming out and is already out. So CSRA, I encourage you to get in contact, get in tune, listen to her, find her, Google her. Whatever you need to do is get in contact with Angel Brown. She got a single out that's coming out. It is already out called It's Okay. It's all right. She's the lead singer for ATL Dream Vision. We're here in the CSRA. So CSRA, put your eyes and ears on the screen. Angel Brown, It's Okay. It's all right. ATL Dream Vision. Angel Brown. All right, CSRA Barbershop Talk Live World. We are back. My good friend Angel Brown, ATL Dream Vision. It's okay. It's all right. Go out and get the single. YouTube, Spotify, any type of media outlet. Get the single. Support Angel Brown. Again, that's just the lead singer of ATL Dream Vision. It's okay. It's all right. Thank you again for tuning in, and she'll be glad you go get the single and also get the album. Follow her on all the different media outlets. Angel Brown, it's okay. It's all right. back to my special guest, Mr. Ben Hasan. Ben, before we paid that bill, we had to pay that bill. We had to pay that bill.
Absolutely.
So we was talking earlier about the water situation here in the CSRA. And can you pick it back up what you were saying earlier?
Yes, what I was getting ready to close that section about. But what did come out of that committee, we were able to, because everything started at the time that we came in, it was 3,000 gallons on up. There was a price for 3,000 gallons, 4,000 gallons, 5,000 gallons, so forth and so on. We was able to get them to come down to 1,000 gallons, 2,000 gallons, 3,000 gallons. So we're talking for the seniors who don't use much water and everything. So for the first time, they got opportunity to have a reduced bill compared to being charged for 3,000 gallons that they don't use. So they had to pay a minimum of 1,000, then it was 2,000, 3,000, and went on up from there. So we did get some results out of it, but they showed us study and showed us thing, and it's just too big a risk to put the public when it comes to water. Water is life, you know. And so, but our goal was to shut it down. But the information and the details, it just was too risky. And anytime you have to just some kind of way you want to do some things, but at the end of the day, the information that you receive just caution you against that and say, you know, I think I better leave that alone. But here's what we can do. And so we settle for that at the end of the day. And so we think there was some benefits from that.
Okay. I think I understand what you're saying. So what you're saying is, you all work the deal to have a minimum of 1,000 gallons.
Yes.
That you be charged
because
for.
the minimum used to be 3,000.
Okay.
And so the price was substantially reduced that a person can get 1,000 because, you know, average senior don't use 1,000. Don't use 3,000 gallons. So we was able to get that done. But our intent was to answer those concerns that citizens had as well as we were trying to understand. So they brought in experts who did this and showed us, you know, and we looked at what Flint, Michigan, and everything. And Flint is still not straight. You know, I seen a brother yesterday. I was looking at him on YouTube, and I said, a brother, black man, military, has built a water system where he takes out of the air, the humidity out of the air, and convert it to water. He has one that's in Flint, Michigan now, where he said it provides water every day for the people of Flint. Their water's still down. You know, he's getting ready to put one over there in Hawaii. He have it in different parts of the world, but this is a brother that they said it couldn't be done. And he built the equipment, John. He built it where it has windows on the side. And he asked the audience, why do you think the windows on the side? And nobody could answer him. He said, really, because people seen once the water come out, they figured he'd fill the machine up. So they better see the water come, that he was converting humidity because that's water from the humidity and breaking it down and producing water.
Okay, that's different.
That's different.
That's very different. I want to see that.
Yeah, but go to YouTube and Google making water out of humidity turning to water. Okay. Just Google that. Okay. On YouTube.
Okay. Now being again.
Roland Martin Show.
Roland Martin Show.
That's what it was on. I was looking at yesterday.
Now, Ben, I'm going to skip back up to number 3 question.
Go ahead.
I'm going to skip back to number 3, and let's make sure I read this correctly. Number 3 question says, I kind of know the answer. Again, I always know the answer to some of these questions. Sometimes I just get them from the people. So I know, but the people want to know. Question number 3 is, I hate to bring this topic up because sometimes it's a touchy topic. Does Black Lives Matter? Ben, does Black Lives Matter? And let me tell you where this caller that gave me this question asked you come from. And in the old days, you know what the white folk do? They'll find a way to kill us off. Mm-hmm. Now they just sit back and let us kill our own selves off. So then we get the T-shirt, we get the march, we get Reverend Al Sharpton to come down here, we get Jesse, we get all these folks to come down. We go to all these type of things, and then we go to the last week where the Joseph situation. Right over at Joseph, and this wasn't no Korean shooting nobody. This was blacks shooting blacks. Mm-hmm. And then we have these forums, we have these marches, we have all these conferences and all this kind of stuff. Black Lives Matter. Do the black lives really matter? Because we're doing it to ourselves. Well, and John, then you try to hold on a bit because, again, this number 3. I want to make sure I put number 3 question out there. So what are we doing? So we want the black folks to come up. We want the black folks to achieve these goals and do all this. But do we really want it? Because sometimes we have some infiltrators in the camp. Mm-hmm. We got many infiltrators in the camp to the point where now I want you good, but I'm going to get you where you can't get good. Mm-hmm. So do black lives really matter? And maybe I'm reading question 3 wrong, but I'm just trying to make sure question 3 is right. Do the black lives really matter? Because, again, we got a march coming up next week. We got a rally coming up next week. We got all this. And can I say this? Some of the time when this stuff happens, we don't really care about it. Because the reason why I say we don't really care about it, we go back to normal after it's over.
Right.
Now, based on your point of view, and it's just your point of view,
Exactly.
does Black lives really matter?
Well, I really appreciate that question. The thing about it, when you asked me, man, I thought about 3 or 4 different ways that to approach the question. So I hope and pray to God give me the best way to approach, because it's a legitimate question, and I appreciate the question.
That's number 3.
But I'm gonna go to a piece of a sermon I saw 2 days ago from a pastor, a female pastor, and part of that sermon she was talking about how Peter was shackled between 2 gods.
Okay.
And she said the angel came in, and the angel unshackled Peter and took him out the door, and Peter was able to escape and go to people who felt well about him. Felt well about him. The point is, we as adults, we are trying to speak to our young people about their lives when we have to repent for us not doing what we're supposed to do for our young people to be in this way.
Okay.
We have a hand, we have a stake in that, John. We got to try to do better for ourselves. We got to show the type of unity that we are sharing now in this conversation here. They have to have an example. We had examples, John. We've not been good stewards of being a good example for them, and now we look at them hurting each other because that's all they know. We didn't protest when they were doing gangster rap, not rap, gangster rap. We didn't say a word, John. You know, you see people pass us in the cars with these big boom box, and they'll take saying all derogatory things about women and themselves with babies in the back seat. We said nothing, John. So we've allowed a subculture to get into our community and to do anything. The only way we're going to have an opportunity to overcome that, John, is do what we are doing now and begin to build a collaborative effort. We don't need no more organizations because we don't know what organization we got now who are providing that service. We have plenty of organizations. We need to get all of them in a room and to let them identify themselves about what service do they provide to the community. And so instead of you creating another organization or me creating an organization, I need to say, well, okay, they're doing what I want to do. Why I can't lend my voice to them? Because the resources is limited. But if I want to volunteer my service to give my time, give it to that organization that already exists. So we don't know where the resources are. It's almost like trying to find a food bank. Know where it is. So now the question becomes, does Black Lives Matter? But we want it to matter to everybody else, but do they matter to us?
That's what makes.
See, that's the question
That's
for
the question.
us.
That's
What
the question.
sacrifices are we willing to make to show that the Black Lives matters to us? And the only way we're going to do that, John, is that we have to do what we're doing now, collaborate, be adamant about it, try to create a value system, try to create another culture, because when people say, well, man, that's our culture. You're not born with a culture, you're born into a culture. So we can correct those mistakes. John, we have been running, and I'm going to do this here for you, John, if you don't mind. Give me 2 minutes, give me a minute here.
We live.
John, when we talk about, John, history says, when Dr. King, we say Dr. King passed and we died. Because at that point, we talk about Dr. King passed April the 4th, 1968. Well, in the 70s, pretty much all the legislation that would give us right to vote, we talk about integration, we talk about all those things, all that was in place then. But before we can get our legs upon us, Hollywood came up with Superfly, Car Wash, Shaft, Foxy Brown. It created a culture for us. Now, it's nothing unusual about those kinds of things from a historical perspective, because the Israelites, after getting free from Pharaoh, they wandered in the wilderness for 40 years, for 40 years. So they redeemed themselves, and as a result, they're a smaller group of people in the world, but they're more financially set than most nations. So now the same thing for us, John, from April the 4th, 1968 to 2008. John, do you know that's 40 years? You know what happened in 2008? You had a black president.
Uh-huh.
So that's 40 years.
Right.
But now, John, we entered about the we in about the 53rd year or so. We just have to get out. We need to find a way to redeem ourselves. Ask God for forgiveness, and how do we build a coalition and decide what we want to do, and don't do it haphazardly. Or does Black Lives Matter to us? And are we willing to be an example for our young people? We ain't gonna save them all, John. Everybody not gonna even join what we're talking about now. But if 20% of us do that, that is enough to have an impact. especially with us having these different media outlets. We can control the narrative in our community. We don't need to create anything else. We need to take advantage of what we already have.
Now, ma'am, I want you to sit down, ma'am, because I think she want to ask the question. But I'll ask the question for you, ma'am. Just hold tight. Let me ask the question. And I think the question she want to ask you, Ben, is the same question I got on number 3.
Go ahead.
So I see she's standing up. As you was talking, she's standing up, but I want her to sit down because she look like she want to get real.
I think that's the Holy Ghost, though, John.
Well, that might
Let's
be,
be fair to her.
But, yeah, she's getting agitated. And, ma'am, I'm going to ask the question, ma'am. Just hold tight. So the question, she probably want to ask the same question I got.
Right.
And I saw when she came in. Mm-hmm. She was very agitated about what's going on this year. So,
right.
And it's so funny that, look at her. You see her?
I see her.
I'm coming. I'm going to ask the question, ma'am. Number 3 question. Mm-hmm. The question she want to ask, and again, I know the answer to the question being, but I want to make sure I ask her question. Mm-hmm. We want to know, when you was on the board, or even if you're not on the board, what is the city of Augusta doing for the youth? Mm-hmm. So again, now again, I got you, ma'am. I got you. Mm-hmm. So based on the 3 questions, what is the city doing for the youth? Because again, we had an incident last week at Joseph High School. Mm-hmm. The whole city was in an uproar. Everybody didn't know what was going on. Didn't know if we got a string of shooters. Don't know if somebody got killed. Mm-hmm. It was crazy. Mm-hmm. So that being said, what is being done for the youth right here in Augusta? Because some of these facilities are closing down. Some of these parks and recreations gyms are closing down. Some of them not being used. So what are we doing to keep the youth active? Or besides the regular old status quo, is there anything coming down the pipeline that you might know about or that's already in place for the youth? So maybe these shootings or these killings and all this stuff going on won't happen dealing with our youth.
Well, that was a conversation I'm hearing as well, that they're going to begin to put programs back into these recreation departments, because those kind of things that we've done as well. But also, John, when I was a teenager, I had summer jobs by way of the recreation department. No, it wasn't the recreation department. I worked in the recreation department, but it was by another entity. Mr. Arthur Stewart was over, and I can't think of the name of the summer program, but it allowed me to buy my school.
JTPA?
No, something. It was something similar to that, but
okay.
That is something I have mentioned to the mayor, that entity has resources, I believe, that you can create summer jobs that come by way of the state. Some of it may be federal money as well. And that has not been done in 7 or 8 years. I've encouraged him because he was on television a couple of weeks ago saying about doing some things for the kid. I told him, well, you don't have to try to take money necessarily out of the city coffers, asking department heads to cut their budget by 5 and 10%, because most likely that's probably not going to happen enough to do what you're talking about summer jobs. That CSRA, I can't think of the full name of John. God knows it escapes me, but I believe they get money that's supposed to create summer jobs for youth and things of that nature. And I've asked him to check into that. And if he don't, in a reasonable amount of time, I'll attempt to look into it myself. But I also think he has a seat at the table on that board, because I honestly believe there are resources there that can help these youth do that. Now, also realize that the school system should be the first priority to try to find a way to entertain these youth and to be more creative. I do realize that there's an all-out assault on public education across the nation. There's an all-out assault. So that means the school board members have to be more creative. They can say what they can't do. Sure, you can't do certain things by law, but you can entertain the community different. So it's about you saying you can't, the law don't allow you to do certain things. But John, nothing precludes you from building a coalition in the community and find a way to fund projects beyond the government. The biggest mistake that we have, we want to criticize the government and want the government be the answer at the same time. It don't work that way. You want to criticize them, and then you want them to be the answer at the same time. It don't work that way. So many of the kind of sacrifice, it's about sacrifice. What sacrifice are we willing to make? It goes back to me for the bus boycott. When it was a bus boycott in the Dr. King days, they protested for over 300 days. Over 300 days, John. They want to get on the bus. As a result of that, integration on the bus line was put in place. But those people walk to work and everything of that nature. So what sacrifice are we willing to make? They saved their dimes, they saved their quarters, and they didn't do that. Many of our ancestors, John, because of working on jobs, working in white folks' home and stuff like that, they couldn't go to NAACP meeting. But guess what? I bet your aunties, our parents, they sent their dime and sent their quarters. We have more freedom that we are not exercising, John. We're doing ourselves a disservice. We don't want to be creative. We don't want to reach into what our parents did. We are taking things for granted now. It's about finding creative ways, because if you have the will, you can find a way. They didn't have the freedom to roam. You and I have access to 20 times the money that our parents had access to, John, but they done more with less. We still just a paycheck from moving everything, John. But because guess what? We're not blowing life into it. We're not doing what money was designed to do. Money was designed to circulate. That's why they say, well, do you know the money go around the white folks community 5 times, money go around the Jewish community 7 times, money go around the Korean community 6 times, blah, blah. Why is that important? Because money was designed that it grows when it circulates.
It circulates.
And so we don't have because it don't circulate in our community.
It don't circulate. It go out so fast.
You know what breaks my spirit, John? Once again, does Black Lives Matter? Every time I hear a person, and they mean well, once again, and I had to grow to that too. Don't make them right, because it's just my opinion, because I'm not being critical. But many times you say, well, we don't have a sit-down restaurant in South Augusta. We ain't got nothing out of here. We never say, why don't we pool our money and get a franchise and put a business out here in South Augusta?
Well, I say that all the time.
So guess what, John? Because if the franchise come out there belong to somebody else, the money's still leaving your neighborhood, still leaving your community. So we never talk about pooling our resources. And I believe if you get enough of us to do it, you don't lock everybody out. You need to create something that way you can almost, the day you open, you have a customer base. You create jobs. You increase your net worth. And also you become an example to your community. We always saying somebody need to come and we need a sit-down restaurant out here.
Well, it's so crazy because now that what you just said brought me to my question 2. And as you see, Ben, I want to make sure I read question 2 correctly.
Go ahead.
And I know that I know the answer to this question.
Go
but
ahead.
Again, the people want to know.
Right.
Based on question 2, she want to know, will you run for office again? Now I already know, Ben, because I know you. I know your whereabouts, your thoughts. I know your walk. I know your head. When I see you in the crowd, that's Ben. But I don't want to know. The people want to know. They just want to know, will you run again?
I don't see that, John. I really don't. God is my witness, I don't. Because I think now with an online newspaper, because last thing the Urban Pro Weekly was a paper that myself and my business partner started. And once I got there, I was sworn in early of August of 14. I went to came into January of 15 because my predecessor, he lost his wife in May of that year, so he stepped down early once I won the runoff, and they swore me in at that point. By December of 14, we're talking about 3 months later, I gave my share of the paper to my business partner, simply because my responsibility, I couldn't do that and do my commission work as well. I believe, honestly, I could be more effective now by understanding the system to some degree and knowing that the conversation is trying to build coalitions now, that we are media in our own rights now. If we build collaborative efforts, we can be a force to reckon with in a system to get in where the community go. You don't need a Ben Hasan in office no more. You just need someone who's committed as Ben Hasan is, But those people are. That's not that they are, but I'm just saying that's what you need, not my body. You need a person who is just as committed, and we can be of influence to them, and we can assist them. And so the more we have these kinds of conversations, we become a force to reckon with. Another thing, you said, does Black Lives Matter? Let me show you why Black Lives matter to everybody else. Okay. Not the way that we want it, because we're talking about more that the police and law enforcement don't respect us. But what is Ron DeSantis running his presidential campaign on? Denying black folks, writing you out the history book, taking authority from duly elected officials when you come to district attorneys and things. Minimizing black folks across the country. When you look in the state of Texas, they're doing the same thing. So they matter. We just don't understand. We're still in the mindset of that we can't trust each other. We ain't gonna ever do right. That's probably so as long as we believe that. Remember, life and death is in the power of the tongue. And as long as we say that, that's where we're gonna reside at. You build a building, but a building don't build people. You build people, and people to build a building. We got to build up our people, man, because those people are trying to win the president on no agenda other than debasing black folks. You got a city in New Bern, Alabama right now that a black man. Now, it's a small town, John. It's about 150 people. He won mayor in 2020. The black population is 72% of that city. Guess what, John? They ain't let him take office yet. He was the only one on the ballot. Look what they're doing in Alabama. Alabama has been told by the Supreme Court to create another black, to create two more black districts. They created one, they dragging their foot by the other. Mississippi, Georgia, Florida, Texas. So Black Lives Matter, we don't understand our worth and our value. That's our problem, John.
Well, Ben, let me ask you this question now. Based on your answer as showing me and showing the people of the barbershop talk world that black lives does matter.
Yes.
I'm gonna skip down to question 9.
Okay.
I'm gonna skip the question 9. Now, question 9 is a critical question because I want to make sure the people hear this answer that you're about to give us.
Okay.
And it's so funny because now for the people that come here, and we have a lot of people come here every year in April.
Mm-hmm.
They come here and the world sees Augusta.
Right.
The world sees Augusta as a beautiful place, money flowing, the pretty green grass, and the azaleas and all that stuff. Now, based on question 9, Augusta looks great to the people that's coming. But the people that's here, what is wrong with Augusta? Now, you might have touched on that question earlier, but I don't know because, again, we had some new viewers just signed on. So for the new viewers that just signed on and that lady that's been pulling out her dress to get to you, I want to let her know that I just want to make sure question 9 is correctly to the point where what is good about Augusta to the people that's already here? Because we don't see what the people that's come here see.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think of why should we stay here? Why should we vote for these commissions? Why should we vote for these elected officials to do right in this city? Because the people that come here only see right one time out of the year, 1 week out the year. But for the ones that's already here, we don't see nothing that's going on. Maybe you answered that question earlier, but I want to make sure the people, for our new viewers, what is Augusta going to do right?
Yeah, John, there's always a tendency, human nature, to believe that the grass is always green on the other side. The one thing I like about the young man I mentioned much earlier, Bobby, the artist Bashir podcast, his podcast called More Than the Masters. He believed that Augusta, like you and I do, because we wouldn't do the things that we're doing if we didn't believe as well, that we have to speak those things into existence because we're going to always have naysayers. And that don't mean they're wrong, John, because you can be dead right about something, but your approach can be wrong. You still got to approach with a level of faith. Scripture tells us that it's hard to be a prophet in your own hometown. Hard to be. You got to leave, and you almost got to sneak back in under the cloak of darkness to get back to where you need to be. So we have to realize, John, that the city does have more to offer, but the real thing is what do we want and what are we willing to invest in it? Those who invest in themselves and their community are successful. Those who neglect themselves and their communities are failures. What sacrifice are we willing to make? Right now, there's a conversation again, and I don't want to, because that's a whole. I'm gonna hold that junk. I think I'm gonna open up something that you ain't gonna have time. We be in a Monday morning. We been on Labor Day. You got plans for Labor Day?
Yes, because my media guy he told me we got about 4-5 more minutes, and I want to make sure we stay within the time frame.
Yes, sir.
But I got to ask this question because again, question 10.
Go ahead.
You see this?
Ben,
I'm not making this stuff up, Ben.
I know you're making.
I ain't making this stuff up. But question 10 is, it's crazy now.
Go ahead.
It's crazy question. Based on question 10.
Let's just say there's no crazy question. Only crazy question, the ones that's not asked.
That's correct. That's correct. So CSRA Barbershop Talk World, I got to ask this question because it's you want to know the answer. I want to know to the point where being, again, you say you're not running.
All right.
You just going to chill out because you said you are retired.
Yeah.
So what you got going on next?
Okay.
What's next for Ben Hasan? Because again, if I see you at the commission meeting, do I think you trying to get some angle? Do I think you trying to put some stuff together? If I see you at the commission, do I think you really concerned what's going on for the city of Augusta? Or do I see you at the commission think you trying to slick us again, whatever? And again, this ain't my question, Ben. Right. This the people. This number 9 question. Right. So I want to know what
number
do you
10.
got? Number 10. I'm sorry. This number 10. Yeah. So what do you have going on? What's the next for Ben Hasan?
I'm gonna retract that statement I told you.
Okay.
That's a crazy question, John.
Because you said you retired. You
John,
said that.
When I still go to the commission meeting, John. I've been going to commission meetings and the committee meetings ever since 2005. I can't help it. I still go every Tuesday. I look, I observe, because I'm in the media now, and I'm not writing on those things necessarily. But in the future, I will be speaking to those issues and trying to push the community to the next level. You can do that. You don't have to be in office to make those things happen. There are plenty of us, because I've been there, I know now more than I've ever known from the outside. Now, I did have a great understanding. That's how I was able to go to the school board. That's how I was able to go to the commission 2011 and address some issues. But it's nothing like being in the hot seat, and you know that. I'm burning up, John. I got to back out of here. I think my pants, I see that my pants gone. Okay. But my point is that I don't have to be there, John. It's just a matter of us sitting down, all of us who have made a conscious decision to put ourselves on the front line, and we can build some accountability among ourselves, accountability among our elected officials, and accountability among our peers in the city. Now, here's what's going to take that I think that most times, John, while I travel alone, and I thank God for it, I have the resolve. Sometimes I get frustrated, and there are a few people I confide in, and they can see my anger. None of it makes me right now, because I don't have a monopoly on good ideas. But we want to not be honest with each other. If something's going to disturb your spirit, and that's not my intent, we just have a disagreement. But John, if we disagree about something, you don't stop speaking now. And so the next time it is that Ben says something about John that John ain't never said. We got to disagree and be adamant, but John, once we come to a conclusion, and there's 5 or 4 of us, and we make a decision, no, John ideal is better, Ben. I got to be all in on John. We've taken account of this. So we got to learn to make grown folk decisions, and people say to disagree to be disagreeable, or disagreeable to learn how to disagree. We got to learn how to do that and do it in a wholesome and dignified manner, because about adding value to my community. I don't have to be an elected official, John. We, the media, the human being, John, is a creature of influence. You know that. That's why you do what you do. We have the same tools that they have. We don't have a radio. We don't have a television station. We don't have a radio station.
Right.
John, but you're inviting people in to your show right now that you don't even know, who feel well about what you're doing, John. We got to understand what the vehicle we have in our hand and say, get it done.
Listen, CSRA Barbershop Talk World, we got to do a part 2, because that guy and that lady that's standing up, I'm telling her to sit down, but we got to get out of here, Ben. It's been a great conversation. And listen, Barbershop Talk World, please don't forget, tune in to Barbershop Talk Live. We did a special show tonight because of the storm, but we always here every Wednesday, 6 o'clock p.m., right here on YouTube, right here on Barbershop Talk Live Facebook page, also my personal page. So I'm telling you to tune in each and every Wednesday. But Ben, before we go, and cameraman, I'm coming, cameraman, but what I want to do, I got to, you see this, Ben?
I see it.
You know what this is?
That's the flag.
This the flag, and I've got to give you a challenge.
Now, if you hit with the flag, I'll look up, I'm going to sue you.
but now I'm going to challenge you with this flag.
Go ahead.
This is my red challenge flag, and Barbershop Talk Live been challenging folks for a long time, so you don't exclude the challenge.
That's right.
You don't exclude the challenge.
Okay.
So what I do when I drop this flag, I am putting the challenge on my person that's in the hot seat. You in the hot seat.
Oh, wow.
So now I'm giving you a challenge. And when this flag hit the ground, challenge has got to be met. Are you ready for the challenge?
Yes, I guess
All
I'm
right.
here.
CSRA Barbershop Talk World, the challenge is going to be dropped. The flag has been dropped. Now listen, that flag has been dropped, Ben, and now that means you are being challenged to be one of the leaders in this city, not only in the commission board, to be a leader in the areas where your service is needed. I'm challenging you, Ben, to be able to be a voice in this community that people can depend on you. I'm challenging you, Ben, to be a person that when they see your face, when they see your bald head, they know you coming for some business, not from some old slick stuff, not some old ulterior motive. I'm challenging you, Ben, Hasan, to be the point where, first of all, continue to be a great granddaddy, continue to be a great father, continue to be a great husband. That's a great challenge right there. But I'm really challenging you to stand up. And the ones that you see are coming up to be in the position that you're in, mold them, encourage them, guide them, motivate them to be the CSRA leaders, for his commissioner, for his teachers, for his education, any kind of way. I'm challenging you to get in that position and make sure we get the right people in place to make sure that Black Lives does matter. That's your challenge, Ben. Are you able, are you capable, or you think you can meet that challenge?
Yes, John, because what's going to take to make that happen is going to do a collaborative effort that we can look at it, because I can't make that single decision. I think we have to do a collaborative effort and see what's best for this community. We have to learn and get people to understand that when people say, you say, well, what's your agenda, Ben? You can't let Ben get away with saying, well, I don't have an agenda. Ben should have an agenda.
Should have an agenda.
The matter, because that gives you back to that test that you wanted for the commissions and the mayor, that gives you in time to rate me by now. Is Ben doing what he say his agenda is? Right. If a person tell you they don't have an agenda, John, you need to get away from them.
I don't want you around me.
All you want a person, you want them to have an agenda and stick to their agenda as much as humanly possible, and you help them get there. John, I'm a firm believer. The task that you put me on, I believe that this is a collaborative effort. I believe we can do it. I welcome the challenge. I would not take on the things that I've done. I can't do it single-handedly. I need your help. I need your viewers' help, and we can get this done. John, I don't have to be out front. I just need to be in the room. John, if we're talking about people being at the table, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. So not only do we need to be at society table, John, guess what? We need to create our own table as well.
Here you go. I'm going to bring my chair.
All right.
Bring my fold-up chair. Cameraman, I think I got 2 more minutes, but listen, CSOA, continue to tune in to Barbershop Talk Live. But Ben, I got to give away something.
Okay.
I got to give away something, and what I got right here, I had to give away to my people that tune in to Barbershop Talk Live every week. Somebody going to get something. Listen, the way you receive this big old pretty red and white bag, you had to pay attention to the conversation. You had to pay attention to what we all talked about. And right now, Ben, if you want to, you can show the people what's in the bag. I don't have no problem. Let the people see what they're going to receive, because great conversation we had, and we are going to do a part 2.
I'll let you define it, John.
Listen, this is a headset, earplugs. I'm talking about cordless earphones, great for workout, great for just walking through the park, great for listening to your music, to your song. This is going to the first person that can answer 2 simple questions.
Okay.
2 simple questions. Look at it. Good, brand new quality set. But listen, what we're going to do, if you got 2 questions that you answer, you'll receive this prize. I need you to put the answer on the screen, or you can give us a call. First question is always a simple question. It's always a simple question. First question is, where is Ben Hasan originally from? He said it earlier. That's an easy question. You should get it right. Where's he originally from? I know where I'm from. Do you know where he's from? First question. The second question, again, if you had paid attention to this conversation, you would know the answer to this question. Again, you get 2 questions right, that bag belongs to you. Second question is, how long was he on the commission board? First question is always simple. Where is he originally from? Next question is, how long did he serve on the commissioner board? I think he snuck it out. I think he said it. I think I heard it. I think you heard it if you paid attention to the conversation. Again, the bag is yours. Put the answer on the screen. We'll make sure you get your prize. Next week, guest, tune in to Barbershop Talk Live. My next guest right here in the hot seat is Miss Angel Wright. Angel Wright, Speak Up Sis, will be right here in this hot seat. Tune in, ma'am. Tune in, sir. Again, to my supporters, to my supporters, to my vendors, to my people that's praying for Barbershop Talk Live behind the scene. Put the hand on the screen. Keep praying for Barbershop Talk Live. Keep praying for myself, and pray for all of the guests that come into this seat. It is a hot seat, and we have a great conversation. Again, first question, where is Ben Hasan really originally from? He said it. Next question is, how long has he been the commissioner serving the CSRA, Augusta, Richmond County? If you know the answer to those questions, put it on the screen or give us a call at 706-426-1533, 706-426-1533. Again, Barbershop Talk Live. If it's on your mind, let's talk about it. If it's on your mind, let's talk about it. Ben.
Yes, sir.
I enjoyed it.
A pleasure's all mine, John. I truly enjoyed it, man.
I enjoyed it.
I truly enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. And listen, before we go, how can they get in contact? If they want to get in contact with you, how can they get in contact with you?
706-831-7828. 706-831-7828. That's my
number. All right, and your magazine?
Speak Augusta.
Speak Augusta.
Come out every other Thursday. SpeakAugusta.com. Go take a look at it.
Okay, and that's the website?
Yes, sir.
SpeakAugusta.com. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Seriously, well, you heard it from the horse's mouth. Again, keep tuning in to Barbershop Talk Live. Again, next week, my good friend, Miss Angel Wright. Speak Up Sis. We'll be right here in this hot seat having another great conversation with our great guests. Barbershop Talk Live is every Wednesday, 6 o'clock. Tune in. If you want to be a guest on Barbershop Talk Live, inbox me. You want to be a sponsor for Barbershop Talk Live, please inbox me. You want to be a supporter behind the scene, we'd be glad to have you. You want to come sit in the audience, we'll put in some more chairs. We got about 28 chairs here this day. But if you want to be a guest, an audience member, no problem. Just come in and sit at the Barbershop Talk Live, 1927 Olive Road. Looking forward to seeing you. For now, Barbershop Talk Live, DJ, you got anything for us? You got any music for us? We just going to get out of here. Ben, I enjoyed it. Again,
I truly enjoyed it.
You have been challenged.
Yes, sir.
You have been challenged.
We have been challenged.
We have been challenged.
We have been challenged.
CSRA, let me ask you a question before we go. Does Black Lives matter? Does Black lives really matter? You answer the question. Ben has answered the question. I have answered the question. You will all have been charged, and you all going to be challenged. See you next week on Barbershop Talk Live. We out of here. See ya.
And now, we're live. Yes, live from James Place. And we're talking Barbershop Talk. Yes, Barbershop Talk, where nothing is off limits and everything's on the table.
Everything's on the table.
Barbershop Talk.
Come on, everybody. We're here at James Place.
Barbershop
We're talking barbershop talk.
Barbershop Talk.
Barbershop talk.
At James Place.
Barbershop talk. When nothing's off limits.
Barbershop Talk.
Barbershop talk.
Barbershop Talk.
Barbershop talk.
At James Place.
Barbershop talk. Topics only.
Barbershop talk.
Barbershop talk.
Barbershop talk.
Barbershop talk.
Barbershop talk.
Barbershop talk.
At Jay's place. Barbershop talk.
Everything's on the table.